Welcome to Crowned and Confident, the official podcast of the Sophia Project. I'm your host, Precious Berry, and I am thrilled to have you with us for our second episode. Today, we're honored to be joined by the incredible Miss Karen Morrison, an esteemed honoree at the Little Black Dress Bruncheon. Karen is a senior manager of the Employee Relations for Global Supply Chain and Logistics at Worldwide Technology, where she brings over 25 years of progressive HR leadership with a rich background that includes over 30 years in healthcare. Is a trusted advisor known for her expertise in managing employee relations, leading formal investigations, and crafting strategic solutions to reduce risk. Her impressive career has entered her numerous accolades, including the Karen Spirit Award, Excellence in Leadership Award, and Recognitions in Women of the Year Award, and the Salute to Women. So, Ms. Karen, we are super excited to have you with us today. We've seen all the amazing work that you have been doing in the community. How are you feeling?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, and I'm happy to be here today to speak to you.
Yeah, so just over 25 years in leadership in HR. Can you just briefly describe that to me?
Well, it's been a journey, and it's been an incredible
Yes.
journey. I have to admit, and I say this a lot, and I think people are like, "Is she serious?" When I say I really have had a wonderful career. So I've been in human resources for about 27 years this year in a multitude of different roles, from recruitment, or we called it staffing back in the day, to being an HR manager, senior manager, business partner is the term in this day and age, and now focusing on employee relations with Worldwide Technology. I've had a wonderful career, and like I said, in many different aspects of human resources, and I think every step that I've had through my career has allowed me to gain better insight and knowledge, not only into the field of HR, but really into myself and
Yes.
what is a driving force for me as it relates to what I do and how much I do truly enjoy my career in human resources.
Speaking about your career, what are some defining moments in that career that you have been in? What has specifically shaped your leadership style?
I think for me, I worked in multiple cities during my career with one of the companies I worked for. I worked in healthcare for over 30 years before coming to technology, and I had very great opportunities at the corporate level as well as in the regional level and the field level to network and mentor individuals, have individuals mentor me, and to be advocates for different individuals throughout my career. I think one of the defining moments for me, honestly, was when I was in corporate America, and I started in corporate America in my early 20s. I was actually 24 years old when I went into the corporate space, so not far off the college campus, still trying to learn myself, trying to really understand, what do I want to do in my career?
Right.
I knew I wanted to be in healthcare, but what do I want to do to make my mark in healthcare? And I found HR. For my journey, I also found very great mentors that I've had my entire career. And growing up in corporate America as an African American female, a young African American female, it was important for me to surround myself with people that look like me, that includes women and men, as well as people that did not look like me. And I was very blessed and fortunate to have some outstanding mentors, a lot of Black male mentors, to be honest with you, that really helped me in terms of navigating the corporate world, in terms of being like the big brother to me and being that voice of reason for me as I was growing up in my career. They were the ones that taught me how to be tough in the boardroom, how to make my mark, how to basically tell myself, you're allowed to be at the table. And when you're at the table, we want you to speak up. And so that was a great defining moment, really for me back in my early 20s, having that level of mentorship and support from, men that had been in this industry. And healthcare is on the side of healthcare that I was on, which is distribution and manufacturing, very male dominant industry. And so as a female in that industry, you have to make your mark, and you have to be able to let individuals know, I'm just as important as you are, and I have a voice. Right. And it's all about each one teach one. So I made out of known operations when I was early in my career. I know it very well now, just like my leaders and the people I supported did not know human resources. And so we were there to teach each other. Like, they were there to teach me the business, which is very important, how to read a profit and loss statement, to all the operational functions of the business, and I was there to help them be great leaders and show them how important it is to mentor and support their employees throughout their journey, and really their role as a leader as it relates to how they interact with their employees and others.
Yeah, I think that's very important that you say how mentors has influenced your life overall. When I first got involved in activism, this lady right here, the late great Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, as we know, the first Black woman to ever run for president, the first Black woman ever elected into Congress, quotes that I live by as a motto in my life is they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And you briefly spoke about that earlier, about making sure that you bring that folding chair to the table, being and having that representation, knowing that it's very pivotal and it's very important that we have Black women that are representing in these spaces and that are advocating and bringing that necessary change. And from just the impact that Congresswoman Chisholm had on my life, I wanted to make sure that I had also other women who were here with me present to do the same thing as a young Black woman, being involved in like the political process, or making sure that we had young women that were bringing those folding chairs to the table and having their representation. And thinking about mentors that were in your life, what are the effective qualities of having a mentor that you can give to young women?
I think there's two things. So, I speak of mentorship. You always want to have someone that you can talk to, someone you can bounce things off of, someone that's going to help guide your career. But also you want to have an advocate. An advocate is very different than a mentor. So for me, I had mentors in my career and I had advocates. One of the best advocates I had was one of our senior vice presidents when I was in healthcare, who had been with the organization for a very long time, about 30 years. He was actually a Caucasian male, and he was someone that was one of my advocates. So I was able to go and meet with him to talk about things I wanted to do in my career, bounce ideas off of him that I had about certain projects I was working on. And as my advocate, he was the one that spoke for me in rooms that I was not in. So I felt comfortable knowing that if he were in a meeting and something came up about me, he would be the one advocating for me and the work that I wanted to do or how I showed up in certain meetings. He was the one that really helped me grow and really, quite honestly, paved a way for me in terms of promotions and other types of opportunities that I had in the organization. Because again, you can't be everywhere all the time, but you want to have someone that's going to be there to advocate for you in those rooms, in those spaces, that will speak highly of you and speak well of you when you cannot be there. I think it's important that we as females, especially young women, find those individuals. And again, you want to find individuals obviously that look like you, but you really want to find individuals that don't look like you, that have different backgrounds and different experiences. For me, I'm a big diversity person. I think diversity creates opportunity, and I think it's important that we learn and grow about and learn about other people and their experiences. Not every experience is the right experience for you, but I do think there's value in understanding and learning different experiences that people bring to the table, because I think it allows you to work better in a more collaborative function. So I would highly recommend that young women start, reaching out. You've got to create your own career, your own pathway. Find those individuals that you may not know that you want to know to be a mentor or an advocate for you throughout your career.
Yeah. I think the one word that comes to mind for me is having a village.
Yes.
Having a village of people that supporting you and uplifting you, and as you stated, representing you or me when I'm not in those rooms. And I think that that's very imperative to have. That's the first for me to hear that, having an advocate and a mentor. I feel like I learned something new from all of these shows that I'm doing. I never thought about that, having an advocate.
I look at advocacy and mentorship, like I said, as two different things. One of the analogies that I always, tell myself, and I tell young individuals, I'm a swimmer, so I like to swim. And I always say, who's going to be in that swim lane with you? If you're a lap swimmer like me, I do, 30, 40, 50 laps a day. I try to. I should say that on most days. And you get tired. And so when you think about swimming, who's going to be that person that you allow in that swim lane with you? That one that's going to cheer you on and hold you up when you feel like you're drowning on some days, or you're really tired and you need that boost of energy to say, you can do this, keep going, you're doing the right thing. Or when you feel like you're falling, the one that's going to be there to be that shoulder to lean on, or that person to kind of, give you that push to keep moving forward. It's all about finding, like you said, your village. And those individuals in your village should be diverse people. level, because again, it's important to get different insight and experiences from others. And I think once you do that, you will find that that's probably one of the best things you can do, especially in a corporate career.
Yeah.
Have those individuals that have different outlooks and different takes and different experiences that you can lean on and grow from.
That's amazing. I think a lot of us young women need that anchor. We
Yes.
definitely do need that anchor, and especially in times that we're living in right now. Being a swimmer, I can't swim. Every time I go to my doctor, they always say, "Have you learned how to swim yet?" And I still don't have the answer that they're looking for. And that's something on my, I would say, to-do list for 2025 for me to get going. And 40 to 50 laps a day that you try, that's a lot of laps.
It seems like a lot to people probably that
Yeah.
don't swim. To me, it's kind of average or not even
Exercise.
average at this point, because I have friends that swim 150 laps a day. Seriously. But it's something that's relaxing to me. It's something that I like to do before work. That's my
Yes.
morning routine. It kind of sets the tone for me for the day, and it allows me to, swimming is a big breathing exercise because you've got to learn how to breathe and swim at the same time. So it's relaxing to me. And I think it's just something that helps me, especially as I walk into HR situations daily, because you never know what you're going to walk into when you work in human resources. But it's something that really sets the tone for me every day.
Drive. Okay, my next questions I wanted to ask you is what strategies have you used to manage difficult employee relations issues, and what lessons can you give to young women to take away from those experiences?
I think one of the most important attributes to being effective in human resources is a good listener. HR professionals spend a lot of time listening, in my role, investigating. And to do that effectively, you have to be able to listen. It's important that, I think one of the things as human beings, we really, most times, just out of our natural being, we want to respond quickly. It's just we listen to respond quickly, listening to understand, and those are two different things.
Yes.
And so for me, being in HR, it's one of the things that I have to do, and I had to really practice, and I had to really hone in and manifest that throughout my career, my listening skills. And it's active listening skills. So not just listening to what people have to say, but there's questions that I need to ask. I need to also understand the tone and the mood. It's very important, again, as an HR professional. Sometimes I have to deliver very hard news. And so there's a way to do that. And there's a way that you have to show up in terms of your body language and your tone when you're talking to individuals, especially when it's going to be a tough situation or a difficult message that has to be delivered. So I think, as I look at my career, even when I wasn't in HR and I was doing other roles like sales and training and some other roles that I had, listening was always really the foundation. Anything that I was doing, I had to really understand that you need to listen to understand and then respond. So that's one of the critical functions, in my opinion, of being effective is good listening skills and understanding.
Yeah. And I think about those as also soft skills. Those are things that you learn like along the way. Also, getting into your career, I hear you saying listening with an intent to reply, then understand, or which a lot of people do, which I think that we need to sometimes listen in with an intent to understand, then reply, because we hear things for how we want to hear things sometimes in life. And
Exactly.
how that could just go down. That's a whole nother conversation. But I think that it's very important for us to develop those soft skills and also have those communication skills, because those communication skills can take us a long way. Do you have any advice for young women who are just wanting to get started in their careers, or any advice for that, for young women to just say that, okay, I can persevere through this, and any advice that you have towards that?
I think the biggest thing I would say is be open to change, be open to opportunity. Again, when I started in my, professional career, I wasn't in human resources. I was doing sales, I was doing training. It really was almost a fluke how I got into HR, and how I got into HR was through my trainings that I did with my sales leaders. I trained sales leaders, and they would call me for advice. And I wasn't really thinking about it that way, but they were like, we call you all the time for advice. And you're really good at it. And we love talking to you. You're someone that's easy to talk to. You should consider a career in human resources. I had never thought about it. I really had not. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? They're like, Karen, we call you all the time. Like, we're calling you to get advice with our customers, and you give great advice to help us navigate difficult situations. And so I started thinking about that, because, again, if no one had ever said that to me, I probably never would have thought about a career in HR. And I started to do my research and understand, like, well, what is it like to be in human resources? Like, what are the different areas of HR? Because it's multifaceted. And the one that I stumbled upon early in my career was recruitment and staffing. We called it staffing back in the day, and hiring. hiring individuals. That role would allow me to get in front of people, have conversations, talk about the organization and the opportunities that we had, and just help people find their way. And that's how I realized how much I love what I do. I think, especially when you're young in your career, I think most people say, oh, I want to do this, and you've got your mind set on that. Trust me, I thought I was going to be sales rep extraordinaire or sales leader extraordinaire when I first got out of college and went into the corporate field. I did sales for maybe 2 years and was like, yep, this is not for me. Let me do something different. So be open to opportunity would be the one thing that I say. Explore your options. Again, get to know different people, understand different sides of the business to help you kind of mold yourself and really help you understand what is that you really want to do and what do you want to master.
I feel like I have a hard time trying to expose myself to something new. For an example, like traveling. A lot of people love to travel. When I travel, I'm like, I need to get back to St. Louis. And I don't know why I'm like that, but like, don't get me wrong, I love the beauty of the world. But I'm so used to being at home and being in St. Louis to where it's like my view span is like very short. I don't know if that's making sense, but like, I'm not used to like just being out there. If I'm going on a beach, a lot of people love to go on the beach. I'm like, I'm ready to go home. And I don't know why, even if it's food. I'm such a short span person when it comes to food. Like chicken, fries, steak, I'm fine. Like Mexican and all the other food, and I just can't. I don't know why.
It's more about, again, it's more about opening yourself up to opportunities. When I was
Yeah.
young in my career, I moved to Charlotte first. I had family
Mhm.
there, but I knew no one else in Charlotte, North Carolina. I made friends in Charlotte, people I'm still friends with today. That was 30 years ago, over 30 years ago. When I moved from
Mhm.
Charlotte to Chicago, knew no one in Chicago. Have wonderful friends that I've had for 30 years in Chicago. I mean, and I was single and on my own. I was like,
Wow.
well, I'll make new friends. I'm going to go and see what it's like. Let's try it. Let's see how much I like this. Same thing when I moved to Atlanta. So again, don't be afraid of the opportunity. You have to embrace the opportunity, and what's meant to be for you will always be for you. And so again, throughout my career, I'm glad of all the moves. I'm really happy about all the moves I made. I've met wonderful people along the way. I've made great friends along the way on the East Coast.
Mhm.
Actually love the East Coast. But if I weren't open to doing that and saying, oh, I just want to stay in St. Louis, I never would have had the opportunities that I've had throughout my career.
Yeah. That's a great way to look at that. As we wrap up this show, my last question that I want to ask you is, as being an honoree for the Little Black Dress Bruncheon, what does that recognition mean to you?
This was such a shock. I was very honored when I received this nomination because I really had no idea. And again, for me, throughout my work that I do, I sit on several boards. I love mentoring and development, whether it's on a board or in the community or even within my own organization. So to be recognized and honored for that work by this particular organization that really focuses on helping women, and primarily, women of color, but all women, it was just such an honor. It meant so much to me to say, wow, I feel like I've kind of met my pinnacle. Like that was one of the things that I was literally shocked. So, for me, again, working with women, mentoring any individual, making sure that each one teach one. I want people to have the experiences that I had growing up in corporate America. I want individuals to have the opportunities that I had because it was so rewarding for me that I want to make sure that the generations behind me get that same opportunity. The Sophia Project and the work that Dawn Price does is really nothing short of amazing. The opportunities that she is giving these women, the exposure that she's giving these women to multifaceted, highly educated women who are also honorees, and some of them are friends of mine, is just amazing. And to be a part of this is just something that really warms my heart, and I'm very, very honored to receive the nomination and the award.
I tell people you deserve it. You deserve it. In my past, I tell people it's not about the award, it's about more of the things that I had to go through to get to where I am
Right.
today in life. And I think that's just having that humble servant heart, is never forgetting where you come from, and also remembering that, hey, it's not that I'm allowing history to choose my peace, but I'm more of allowing it to embrace who I am as an
Exactly.
individual. And that's the mindset that I try to have with everything that I do in life, is to continuing to know where I come from and the impact that I want to continue to make on my community. So,
Wonderful. Wonderful.
yeah.
That's a good
So
mindset.
let's thank you. Yes, let's get into the rapid fire. I want to ask you 5 quick questions. You can keep it very short.
Okay.
This is just a way for the audience to get to know who you are.
Okay.
All right. So first one, favorite movie.
Devil Wears Prada.
Okay.
I love fashion. Oh my gosh. Favorite song. Oh my gosh. Probably right now, Michelle by Luther Vandross.
Mm, okay. Okay. Let me see. Night owl or morning person?
Morning person.
Dream vacation.
Wow, I just got back from the Dominican, but I really want to go to Cabo, believe it or not.
Really? I
Yes.
went to Senegal last summer, so I had the experience.
But my ultimate dream vacation, honestly, would be Greece. I'll say that.
Greece. Okay. Why Greece?
I just want to go to Mykonos and see that beautiful sand and those beautiful buildings and that beautiful water. I love Greek food and I love the culture, so I just want to go.
I know that's right. I pick favorite, I would say music group.
Earth, Wind, and Fire,
Yes,
without a doubt.
that's my favorite. One
Yes.
of my favorite, and the Isley Brothers, but I would say Earth, Wind, and Fire. I've been blasting "That's the Way of the World" lately.
Yes. I'm a
By Earth, Wind,
70s kid. Definitely EWF.
yes, yes. Well, that concludes our rapid fire round. I wanted to say thank you, Ms. Morrison, for hopping on Crowned and Confident by the Sophia Project. We want to just wish you the best in all that you have in the community, and we cannot wait to see you in
Thank
March.
you so much. I cannot wait to see you all. And again, thank you so much for this incredible, incredible nomination and award.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.